This video is not going to be about quitting bad and naughty habits, but about noticing and bringing awareness into what your system is actually asking you for. The brain is not addicted to a specific thing, meaning cookies, chocolate, scrolling, but the brain is addicted to relief. And very quickly, I'm going to share with you my personal story, what made me to think and reflect about all these things. So, some years ago, I was eating a lot of chocolate. Every time I was stressed, I was eating chocolate. I was in a very emotionally difficult period of my life, and at some point, I was eating like two chocolate bars, two big chocolate bars per day. And it's not like I tasted them and I allowed myself to experience the taste and pleasure and really feel it. No, I swallowed it. I'm like, okay, Oksana, like you're basically alcoholic, but with chocolate. I didn't drink alcohol anymore at that point. So I decided, you know what? I'm simply gonna stop eating chocolate. And I stopped like cold turkey. I just cut it. Like when I entered into the shop, I didn't negotiate with myself. Should I buy chocolate or should I not buy? I simply became a person that doesn't eat chocolate. But this video is not about identity shifts. I'm definitely gonna make another video about it. And because I didn't eat chocolate, I gracefully replaced one addiction for another and started to consume cookies. And let's be honest, it's not one cookie, it's not one piece of chocolate. And I'm sure if you're watching this video, you know that it's never like that. So again, I catched myself and I'm like, wait, so I simply replaced like chocolate with cookies and now I'm consuming cookies, but I'm still like addicted to that sugary to the need for sugar. And obviously we can blame sugar as a chemical, but I do believe in the power of human brain and into our own power, our own agency and leadership over our lives and into the power of making the choices that are actually good for us. So I decided not to eat any cookies as well. Guys, you know what I started to do? I started to scroll. I was never a scroller. When people were saying that they spend a lot of time on social media, I could never fully understand it because I simply don't do that. So I started. I stopped eating cookies, I stopped eating chocolate, and I started to scroll on Instagram, which was like insanity. And I'm like, what's wrong with my brain? And here it is. I started to look into it and started to become very curious. Okay, I need to find an activity that is not very energy consuming, like for example, meditation, like reading, but I need to find some activity that I can replace sugar or scrolling that can help me to draw this line between, okay, this was my day, and now I'm home, but I'm saying home like home in my body. Now like I can exhale, you know, before doing all this, before the bed rituals. So here is what I understood. The brain is not addicted to a specific thing, meaning cookies, chocolate, scrolling, but the brain is addicted to relief. What I mean by that, everything in your body, in human bodies, everything in nature basically, constantly seeks homeostasis, harmony. How we achieve that harmony is totally up to us if we become aware of our daily choices. The brain is a very energy hungry organ, meaning it will always look for path of least resistance. So in my case, okay, she eliminated chocolate. Okay, let's try cookies. Okay, she eliminated cookies. What a lunatic person. Let's try scrolling, right? So the brain, it's not that it wants particular activity. It simply wants a release. Second point I want to make is that habit substitution is not only normal, but I would even say unavoidable. Meaning, when we remove something, something else will come and take its place. And if we don't decide consciously what this thing gonna be, then our brain gonna decide it unconsciously. And as I mentioned before, the brain is very energy hungry organ. It will always pick the path of least resistance. So it's very important to bring a lot of consciousness and intention into, okay, I'm removing one habit, what I'm gonna do instead. Third point, soothing. It's very easy to judge the habit or activity, meaning, oh, sugar is bad, chocolate is bad, scrolling is bad. But if we remove the judgment and just see it for the human body biological need to regulate and to soothe, to zoom out from judgment, then we can understand that none of those things are bad. It's simply the body's attempt to regulate itself. So the issue is not the soothing itself, but unconscious soothing. That's why we have to consciously and intentionally choose our habits and behaviors. And the point number 4, awareness interrupts the loop. In the moment when we notice it, we have power, we have agency to do something about it. If we are unaware, we are simply unaware. We don't know what we don't know. When we know, we can do something about it. It means that also awareness should be trained in your life the same as any other skill. Like becoming very aware of your actions, of your behaviors, of your habits, of your patterns. Without judgment, with inspiration to change, alchemize, and transform them. The pure fact of awareness itself activates the higher order brain regions, and naming the pattern, meaning noticing it and naming it, reduces the compulsive behavior intensity. And the important point I want to make here is, because when we notice something, that we are doing something that is not loving for us, we often judge ourselves. But the very fact of noticing is the prerequisite for change. Noticing is good. It feels uncomfortable, yes, but it's good. Don't judge yourself for noticing. It's good. Okay, Oksana, all of this story, but what can I actually do? Without eating sugar, without scrolling, how can I actually soothe myself without these things? I think it's very, very individual, and you have to become curious and experiment with different things. But I'm going to share with you what works for me. So I understood that for me, it's very important to draw the line, that it's like this day is over. Now I'm here with myself. I work on day-to-day basis in a very close proximity with people. So when I arrive home, I write on a paper. I don't just think, I actually take a paper and I write down on the paper, this day is complete. Sometimes I burn it, I light the candle and burn it. Sometimes I just throw it out, tear it apart and throw it out. It doesn't matter. But it's like I attach action to the intention. This day is complete. And that small shift, which is it almost feels like silly, like what kind of change it can make? A big one. Try it out. And it's like I draw invisible line between my day where I was serving others or doing things, I was busy, into shifting closer to myself, where I meditate, where I read, and where I do all the pre-sleep rituals. If you too have some unconscious soothing habits that you would like to alchemize into more conscious habits, into the habits that are more loving to you, let me know in the comments. That way we're gonna inspire each other to live better. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, do everything that you need to do on this platform, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.